Welcome back to another video, everybody. We have a lot to discuss in this video here. Again, we have some very interesting pieces of economic data that were released today, and I want to make sure that all of you are prepared for the very significant piece of data that is going to be released tomorrow morning. We have some positive developments here between the United States and China with these trade talks that have been ongoing, and we have some really interesting pieces of news getting released here with Palantir and Tesla, as well as Sofi making some very significant moves as well. So before we get into all of that information, guys, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. And as always, massive shout out to all of the members of my private trading and investing community, Less Trades, More Profits. I'm going to throw up some of the gain screenshots over here, guys. I mean, what else do you expect at this point? It's very, very highly reviewed for a reason. Some of you guys making 700, 800% on these trades that I am outlining for you guys. Remember, this is the last month to get access to the best sale offer that I am ever going to have. 50% off your first 2 months with code June. Again, it comes out to $1 a day, and after June, it's going to be waitlist only. We are closing off to the public, so if you want to hop in there with us, make sure you take advantage of that. Again, you guys get access to all the full-length educational courses, the pre-market plans every day, the private daily live streams, the full watch list of stocks and cryptos that are about to explode before they do, which is exactly where these trades that you've seen on the screen are coming from, the macro research reports, single stock research reports. Again, I'm probably forgetting a couple of things because there's so much in there, but if you guys would like to join us, make sure you check out that link down below. But starting off over here, again, we had China's Xi held a phone call with Trump at the latter's request today. Again, this is the big trade deal that the market wants to see. When we take a look at the broad market here, we have been chopping around in really the same zone here for really the last couple of weeks. What the market really needs to see in order to make that next move, hopefully it ends up being that next leg to the upside if we do see some of these positive developments, is just that. We need to see more positive developments, either from a macro front, and that could be some of the data coming out and showing us that the projections for rate cuts are going to start moving up, which we're going to talk about in a second here, or we see more of these positive developments with these trade talks between the US and China, or trade deals announced with a lot of these other countries that the United States is negotiating with. Now, the second thing that we saw today, again, is the every Thursday jobs report here. U.S. jobless claims, initial claims rose 8,000 to 247,000 over the last week here. The survey or the estimate was about 236,000. So what that effectively means is that the number of people that are filing for unemployment benefits from their state for the first time was higher than expected, with those continuing claims meaning that people that have already filed for unemployment that are staying on unemployment here, that number actually went slightly lower. Now, what we have to be ready for tomorrow is non-farm payrolls. We're going to be seeing the unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, and really just an overall deeper look into the labor market and how it looks in the present. We all saw the market's initial reaction to those ADP employment numbers that came out earlier this week, and when those were a lot lower than expected, the market initially reacted negatively, mainly because a lot of people are going to start feeding into this stagflation narrative. But for me, and again, everything that I've been talking about on this channel here, until we actually see inflation starting to move back to the upside, I would not be worried about these stagflation fears that a lot of talking heads have been really trying to push out into the media here. Again, the Fed has been saying this all year long. A lot of these economists have been saying this all year long, and they have not been correct. So if that ends up being the case, that we do see the unemployment rate tick up a little bit tomorrow, payrolls a little bit lower, maybe average hourly earnings creeping up, or maybe not as much as the market expects, I would expect that dip to be bought back up, because the market is really going to start looking at this from a framework of, okay, inflation is probably not going to start moving significantly back to the upside, but having increased unemployment can slow down growth a little bit, just kind of with all other things being held equal. And when we take a look at some of these market projections here, let me refresh this. For the end of the year for rate cuts, we are actually seeing the probabilities here. Oh, this actually changed today after some of the data. They are flickering around a little bit. We are seeing Again, the projections for 2 rate cuts by the end of the year staying relatively flat, but after some of the pieces of economic data have come out, as you guys can see right here, we have seen the expectations and projections for 3 rate cuts by the end of this year starting to creep up a little bit. Yesterday, these jumped to 31.9%, and now they're back down at 28%, and these should definitely move a decent amount depending on what happens when the non-farm payroll numbers are released tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Now, in addition to this, we also have an interesting report coming out from Bank of America here, and they're saying that they are going to stay bearish on the US dollar despite short-term risks. Now, this was something that we covered in the public live stream today. Remember, I'm going live for you guys every single day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern from Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays I'll be live with you guys publicly for free on YouTube here at 9:15, so make sure you have notifications turned on for that. And when we take a look at the dollar here, I think this is a very good lesson for a lot of you guys that maybe missed this stream, that when you think about the dollar weakening, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, well, it's bullish for equities. Now, again, if you look at this chart of the dollar here and then take a look at the charts of the overall market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, these are not very correlated in the present here for a very important reason. And again, guys, context is very, very important. Remember what we've been talking about on this channel here and in the live streams about the fact that a lot of money is flowing out of the United States or has flown out of the United States in the first quarter. Well, that's exactly what this chart of the dollar is showing us. The dollar index here, Dixie, is measuring the dollar strength versus a basket of other currencies. So when this index is moving down, it means that the dollar is weakening against these currencies, showing a lower demand for dollars or an increased supply out on the market of dollars because people are selling US assets, whether that be debt or equities, and then moving that money back to their country in the form of repatriation here. Now, at some point, we are going to see this trend shift, and the dollar moving up can actually be very bullish for equities, as it's going to show a lot more foreign demand for US assets in the present. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that with you guys here, but let's get into some of these individual names. The first one that I want to talk about here is Palantir. So as we all know, there has been a lot of different pieces of news coming out around Palantir over this last week, and they actually had some really solid news getting released today. Again, like I've said before, Palantir just proves to us time and time again that they are going to continue growing their business here, from the commercial side to the government side. CD Data Embedded Business Unit announces extended relationship with Palantir to power enhanced data connectivity in Foundry. And in addition to this, we also saw Palantir is partnering with Bolt Financial to offer payments process enhanced by AI, providing customers with a personalized checkout experience. Now, one of the things that people are starting to get a little bit worried about with Palantir is this kind of new or expanded partnership with the United States government, in which the the New York Times called it Palantir and the United States government teaming up to create this big database to surveil Americans. Now, I will tell you guys a little anecdote here, just scrolling around on TikTok. People that are not invested in the market here, or let's just say not paying close attention to the market like we might, are really worried about this. The amount of videos that I saw about this situation with Palantir yesterday was honestly quite shocking. And Alex Karp did come out in one interview today. He does have another interview coming out a little bit later. And I think he made a very big mistake in the way that he is handling this situation here. We know, and I'm going to play this clip in a second for you guys, but we all know that, again, this negative press is not going to affect Palantir's ability to grow their revenues here. Again, they're going to continue to get more government contracts. They're going to continue to get more commercial contracts, but having negative press like this is not bullish and can definitely add a lot of noise to either employees at the company or anything that Palantir wants to do in the future. But let's play this short clip here so you guys can hear what I'm saying.
You know, the Palantir platform, despite what you might read at the New York Times, is actually the most secure, the hardest platform in the world to manipulate and change. Of course, any technology can be abused. But if you wanted to abuse the technology, if you wanted to use the deep state to unlawfully surveil people, the last platform on the world you would pick is Palantir, because of the granular way we segment and put together, and the security models and the access control models that are in Foundry natively. But leaving aside the technical, look, it's probably
wrong.
hard
Is that
for
what you're
them,
saying?
I'm sure. Well, it's not. Well, first of all, on the tech side, it is so ridiculous. I read the New York Times. It's literally like I'm a dyslexic. They might as well be hiring me to do a spelling bee. So, maybe they just have friends who are tech bros, but they can't hire on a meritocratic basis. I don't know. So that's up to them. We have a contest. Find all the errors in 90 seconds. I think somebody will find 50 or 60. But the more important thing is we are not surveilling Americans. We are not building a database to surveil. And if you wanted to do that, the last platform in the world you would buy is Palantir. And don't believe me, go look, spend 10 minutes and look at the architecture of our product. 10 minutes.
So what we really heard in that clip there is Alex Karp is kind of being the normal Alex Karp in a lot of his interviews, and I honestly think that this was the wrong person to send out to try and do this PR expedition here. Again, his energy right there is not going to go over well with a lot of these individuals that are worried about this situation. All he effectively said was, no, we're not surveilling Americans, and you should just go read how our product works, which again is going to confuse a lot of people there. This is going to be something that Palantir is going to have to deal with over the next couple of weeks and months here. Again, and we are seeing that negatively reflected in the share price today, with Palantir being down about 6%. So what Alex Karp and Palantir really need to do here is understand their audience. They are not talking to investors in Palantir or institutions that are invested or considering investing in Palantir. They are talking to normal, everyday citizens that are seeing a headline from the New York Times about a company and a partnership with the United States government that is looking to surveil them, which nobody wants. And then by telling them, oh, all you have to do is just go read about Foundry, and telling people who, again, probably don't have any technological experience or have followed Palantir for a while to try to understand the intricate nature of how they might go about protecting data, I don't think that's a good way to turn kind of the public perception back to their side there. So again, this is going to be something that they deal with for the next couple of weeks and months here. Hopefully they can kind of streamline some of these PR efforts to make sure that the points that they actually want to get out are actually getting out. Now, the next one that I want to talk about here with you guys is Tesla. Tesla is having an absolutely horrible day here, down about 9.4% after Musk and Trump spat over the budget bill boils over. So one of the main reasons why we are seeing Tesla fall so much is because a lot of investors were looking at this relationship between Donald Trump and Elon Musk here as being something that could benefit Elon Musk, Tesla, and a lot of these other companies that Elon Musk owns because of the relationship that he has with this new administration here. But again, even that relationship was not necessarily enough to keep some of the things that Elon wanted in kind of everyday operations here. We can see whatever, keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Again, this is what Trump cited as what really was making Elon upset about this bill, along with that debt load actually increasing here. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that that was both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. So this spat that Trump and Elon Musk are having right now is one of the main reasons, again, that Tesla is selling off, because again, Trump did come out and say that he doesn't think that him and Elon are going to have a great relationship anymore. And if that's the case, well, you might not see the things that investors wanted to see out of this administration here that would end up helping Elon Musk and a lot of his other businesses. Now, the last name that I want to talk about with you guys in this video today is Sofi. Now, while there wasn't any crazy pieces of news coming out with Sofi today, Sofi is moving with some pretty strong aggression here to the upside. At the current time that I'm recording this, Sofi is up about 3.5%, reaching highs today of about $14.33. And when we take a look at Sofi on this weekly time frame here and kind of expand things out, this is a very bullish looking chart setup here as we go into the summer. Now, for those of you guys guys in the Less Trades More Profits community know, those daily setups can play out again over a couple of days or over a couple of weeks. And those weekly setups, when charts look very good on the weekly, they could start to play out if they end up following through over a couple of weeks or over a couple of months here. So if SoFi can hold these upper levels as we go into the end of this week here, especially getting through non-farm payrolls, because that can definitely shake up the market. Again, if SoFi can break out of a couple of these weekly highs here, we easily could see this one moving back into the 15s, 16s, and even 17s in the near future here, especially as we get into August when SoFi is going to be reporting their next earnings. Remember, they have those goals of getting to 50 million members when they are currently around 11 million members. And then also they are bringing crypto back, which can easily, again, grow their users and also grow their revenues. So again, this is one that I own at an average of about $6.55. Been a really, really strong performer for not only myself, but also all of the members of the private community there. And I'm really excited to see where this one can end up going in the future. So guys, that is going to wrap up this video here. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, make sure you guys are subscribed, turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. But until next time, guys, I will see you bright and early on the stream tomorrow morning. Peace.